Check them out.
This is Armed American Radio's Daily Defense.
Armed American Radio's Daily Defense, because they don't want me to, that's why I do it.
Presented by X Insurance. X Insurance. From the Sig Sauer Studios. On the Patriot Mobile Platinum microphone. Here is your host, the loudest conservative voice in America fighting the enemies of freedom, Mark Walters.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense. I think it's Tuesday, Greg. Is it Tuesday yet?
Oh, yeah. Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday. It's the Taco Tuesday edition. Welcome in, guys. Mark Walters filling your prescription for freedom here in the Sig Sauer Studios. Yeah, in front of the Patriot Mobile microphone. Yeah, and it's all being brought to you by X Insurance. Greg and Dallas, how you doing today? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, well, we're up on all platforms today, and I would appreciate it if you would tell people where to go. And before you do, I'll just tell people you can go to facebook.com/Armed American Radio, facebook.com. You can watch us over there. And we put some little shorts up and stuff after the show goes. So, make sure to follow us over on Facebook, facebook.com. Help us take back that social media. Same thing with Twitter. Go ahead, Greg. Tear it up.
Sure. If you want to watch the show, just do a search for Armed American Radio with Mark Walters over on YouTube and Rumble. On X, it's at AAR Mark. If you want to join our live chat, download the Telegram messaging app, create your profile, and search for Armed American Radio Conversations.
Yeah, and Greg, I got to tell you this before we go to Lee. I'm holding up this RPG again from Goat Guns. If you're watching on camera. I can't get over this. I love this
Dude, that thing is, when I got it, I told you that thing was cool.
And the cool part about it is the great back scratcher, too.
Yeah, sure.
It's so
It'll reach.
large. It was reaching. It kept me from having to go over to the front door because I couldn't find my back scratcher. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. This thing's the real deal, man. I mean,
those are so cool.
I'll put it up and give you an idea. It takes it all the way down almost to my elbow from my fingertips. So this thing is huge, ladies and gentlemen. I have to get another one of these. They're really cool. You can pick yours up at goatguns.com, goatguns.com. Fun stuff. Love fun stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Lee, the Gunwriter Williams. How you doing, brother?
Oh, man, I couldn't be any better. Busier than hell. How are you?
Well, I guess if I were any better today, there'd have to be two of me.
You got an RPG.
Yeah, I got my Goat Gun RPG. That thing's pretty cool. Do you have a Goat Gun yet, Lee?
Yes, I do. I actually have the AK.
Oh,
and it puts together like a real AK.
I know, isn't it great?
Yeah, they're very cool.
But they're solid, man. They're solid metal. They're just really, really fun to have laying around. You know what I mean? So anyway, There's that. Lee, there's all kinds of fun stuff going on. I want to let you know that you were missed at the NRA convention. A lot of people were asking me about you. Hey, Walters, where the heck is Lee the Gunwriter Williams? Doesn't he just live in Florida? I said, yeah, he does, but he's busy. He couldn't make it up. That was the first NRA convention I'd been to since 2019, Lee. So it had been a while.
Wow.
I noticed some changes. It seemed, well, I guess if you've been gone for 5 years, you notice some changes, right? Of course, there was a COVID year, weird COVID stuff, but people are feeling good about the National Rifle Association right now, getting leaner and meaner and stronger. How do you feel about them?
I think if they listen to the right board members, they will come through this, and they will be not only fine, but they'll be a force the way they used to be the force.
Be reckoned with.
I think they just need some time to get their stuff in order.
How much time, as we say down south of the Mason-Dixon line, ladies and gentlemen, how much time you reckon they're going to need?
I don't think much. I think the members know where they want to go. I think you've got some folks at the top that don't want to go there. And I think the new members of the board, I don't know how many there are, because there's 55 total?
There used to be 76 or something crazy like that. I'm not sure. To be honest with you, I'm really not sure what the membership is as far as the board is concerned.
Every year that goes by, you're going to see better, more switched on board members. Not to say that there are some old guys there who don't know what they're doing, because, I know quite a few of the board members who are no longer there, and they're totally 2A. It's just, you've got this huge damn board, and it's going to fall into factions, and it all depends on which faction you fall into, brother. It's basic human engineering.
I think, what I didn't notice a lot of FUDs this go around. You tend to see a lot of FUDs at an NRA convention. You do, over the years. You just do. Yeah. I may hate to say that, but it's true. And, that's okay. As long as you're not up me about my AR-15, I don't care what you choose to do, right? You do whatever you want. I love the fact that you're a gun owner. But just because you like to hunt turkey doesn't mean I shouldn't have an AR-15 or 10 in my safe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was in one of those moods today, man. So, Lee, check this out. House Republican urges ATF. Now, this is fun because you've been all over the ATF better than anybody I know. And I mean that, ladies and gentlemen. You can read all of Lee's investigative journalism work at Armed American News and over at the Second Amendment Foundation. And Substack, give me the Substack. I keep getting it backwards. Substack.com, Gunwriter, how does that go?
The gunwriter.substack.com.
Okay, I would have figured that out at some point. It was like me today. I had to get an affidavit done, and I couldn't remember because my printer wasn't connected to my home internet. And it's been years since I've been in that home internet that I've had a problem with it. I couldn't remember it. Neither my kids or my wife could remember it, so I had to take it down somewhere and have it printed. It was a pain in the butt. But nonetheless, I would have gotten it right at some point, I'm sure. A House Republican urges ATF to update firearms transaction form to protect Americans from mistakenly committing felonies and gender ideology extremism. What? Let's go here, okay? And this was printed up today.
I think we must.
Yeah, I think we
must.
I think we must. At goldrushcam.com. A site that I've been to from time to time, but I'm not real familiar with it. It pops up in my alerts. But this one definitely got my attention because you were going to be here today. And ATF is, let's just say the ATF can't be a master of disguise around Lee the Gunwriter Williams. They try, but it doesn't work. Lee keeps unmasking them. Last week, Subcommittee on Federal Law Enforcement Chairman Clay Higgins released the following. Subcommittee on Federal Law Enforcement Chairman Clay Higgins today is calling on the BATFE to make necessary updates to its firearms transaction record, Form 4473. That's what you better know as the NICS check form, ladies and gentlemen, every time you purchase a firearm, to protect citizens from unknowingly making felonious misrepresentations and defend Americans from radical gender ideology. In a letter to Acting ATF Director Daniel Driscoll, Chairman Higgins requests information on whether the ATF has the authority to update the form to clarify a question to ensure individuals who can certify in other legal situations that they are not a convicted felon, but have not had their firearm ownership rights formally restored from inadvertently committing a perjury. He also seeks information to ensure the form complies with President Trump's executive order to restore biological truth in the federal government. Now, I did not pull up a Form 4473, but is there a gender thing on there that I missed?
Gosh, it's been such a while.
Let me pull this up.
I honestly don't know.
I'm going to pull this up. I'm pulling it up right now. Gotta love the internet. Let's see. Tag, no, type, place of birth, height, weight, sex. Male, female, non-binary. I don't know how that escaped me, Lee. But no. I admit on a live mic, it did. Okay. So let's go back to what Chairman Higgins wrote. The Gun Control Act of 1968 prohibits individuals who have been convicted of certain crimes from legally purchasing a firearm. For this reason, when individuals purchase a firearm, they are required to complete ATF Form 4473, which includes a question about their criminal background. Gun Control Act of 68 also includes restorative procedures for individuals whose record and reputation are such that the applicant will not be likely to act in a manner dangerous to public safety and wish to again exercise their Second Amendment rights. Now, let's see, the Second Amendment, numerous example 4473, a sex classification to remove non-binary. So that's what he wants to do. He wants to remove that non-binary nonsense from the 4473. Okay. And I have to be honest with you, I was unfamiliar with that.
Here's an idea. Let's just get rid of the whole damn form.
Well, let's get rid of the fake background checks that don't work.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's just restore Second Amendment rights. What is non-binary, ladies and gentlemen? If you don't really pay attention to this stuff, if you ever really given that any thought, it covers lots of gender identities. You're not one or the other. You can be whatever you say you want to be, which is a load of bunk, quite frankly. However, and Lee, do you even know when that was put on? I don't. It's something I have not paid any attention to be frank with you. I've never paid attention to that.
No, I'll be honest. I don't remember seeing it. I don't remember anything about it.
Interesting, because my guess would be that it was added during the Biden years, back when rabbits and, transgender whatever were running around the Easter bunny deal on the Easter egg roll and stuff during the goofy Biden years, and we look back at that, we're going to shake our heads and go, what the hell happened? I mean, this was on the White House lawn? Yeah, it was, ladies and gentlemen. But I don't know when that was. I have to look into that just for fun. I had never given that any consideration, never thought about it. And as many times as I've talked about the 4473, I never really paid any attention to that. Maybe that's just because I was so used to seeing it, I didn't see it. That's pretty sad. I don't know the answer to the question. I'm asking myself out loud on a live microphone. When we come back, we'll continue 3 more segments with Lee, the Gunwriter Williams. We got lots of places to go, and we'll have some fun in the process on a Tuesday for you. Don't go away.
The following segment of Armed American Radio's Daily Defense is being brought to you by Patriot Mobile. Visit patriotmobile.com/AAR and use the AAR promo code to get free activation today. Welcome back to the show.
Welcome back indeed. Mark Walters in the 6 Hour Studios with you in front of that Patriot Mobile microphone and Patriot Mobile activated phone right here in my hands. If you're watching the show on any of your devices or televisions or any of that fun stuff, you can do the same thing. patriotmobile.com/AAR. Activate your phone. It can be done almost instantly. It's so easy to do. Just port your number over. They'll take care of it. All U.S.-based customer service, so you understand everybody. Pretty cool. It's the way it should be in America, and everybody speaks English. And guess what? You can have a Patriot Mobile activated phone too, and stop giving your money to woke companies that want to take away your gun rights. And we're going to talk about the Giffords organization who wants to take away your gun rights too, even though they say they don't. We'll get to that in a minute, but patriotmobile.com. And all of our fine partners, you can find them all at armedamericanradio.com. Lee, the Gunwriter Williams, welcome back in, my brother.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Okay, so you want to pivot now to ATF. You've been doing remarkable work over at Armed American News and at Second Amendment Foundation and your Substack column on following this kid, and how many columns are we in now? 6, 7 columns at least as you follow up?
About 14.
About 14. See, okay. Don't hold that against me. I lose track. It's pretty easy to do. But let's go now. What's the latest word on this? If you would, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the young sailor who is doing 20 years. He's 3 years in. They wanted to give him 30 years. And you got this expert witness who really doesn't have an expert witness background, Lee.
No, this is his first trial. And we went through this story. We examined what this cat did and what he said. He talks a bunch of crap about the Innard RPGs. He turned them into so he'd fire around. He took a toy submachine gun and put a real barrel and a real receiver on it, got it to fire a 9mm round. He declared that these guys are very rare, very expensive, and very legal. Open bolt semi-autos were machine guns.
Mm-hmm.
With a background like that, the only thing that our guy Tate has is pretty much a presidential pardon, and that's what this story is about. We want him to let President Trump know. I think he'd be the perfect choice. Look at all the people that Trump has pardoned. Look at all the people that have committed some type of crime that Trump has pardoned.
Yeah, and this kid did not. It's important to point out that everything that this kid bought, that the ATF claim was illegal, was in fact legal. Now, I don't know the motive behind this and why they appear to be going after this kid this way. I don't know the answer to that question. You're closer to that than anybody else. And I don't even think you had, go for it. Tell me.
They had been in a state, they being ATF, had been in a state where they're kicking doors, and they're not finding anything illegal. This was about 3 years ago. They kicked the door. They didn't find anything illegal. So that's when they brought in this cat. And he's not an ATF officer. His last name is Bodell. And he's more of a, I don't want to call him a scientist, more of an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
He's a firearms enforcement officer. He does a whole bunch of little tasks for the ATF. He went through the list, and he is the guy, brother, that said RPGs were illegal. They're destructive devices. The open bolt semi-autos were machine guns. The toy submachine gun was not a toy. And here's the bottom line on everything that he's whacking. You can buy it all online right now. Right now. They had, Tate had hundreds of Mac 9, Mac 10 flats, which is a flat piece of metal.
Yeah, we talked about that last week. I wouldn't even know what it was if I was looking at it. I would have no clue.
Yeah, well, they wanted to charge him each with unregistered machine guns for each of those flats. That he got off, or he would be serving 30 years right now. So I think, ATF is not going to make any statements. They're not going to come out and say, hey, we had some problems on this case. I think the only way this kid walks is through a presidential pardon.
At this point, yeah, because he's not going to get him. I would hope to God that Bondi would look into this. And like we talked about before, when you get done doing all this, we're going to move in that direction. But I just don't understand and I've read everything that you write on this. I don't understand why they appear to have targeted this kid. And I don't know anything about
They
this
appeared
Bodell.
to target him. They didn't appear to target him. They targeted him.
Yeah, I don't
Because
understand why. For what reason? It almost looks to me. Well, like this guy wants to make himself look good, like he's trying to do this for his own personal gain. I don't have the answer to the question. I don't know, but it is frustrating.
Now they kicked the door. They didn't find anything. They've done that a few times, a few too many times.
Okay, well, why didn't they just say we didn't find anything and walk away?
Because they're not honorable people, bro. That's why. I mean, you read through his report, which is linked in the story.
Yeah.
And you will it'll blow your mind. I mean, everything that's in there that they're calling rocket propelled grenades and machine guns, and you can buy it right now. Right now.
Yeah. Well, we're just, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to keep following it, and whatever answers Lee comes up with, we're going to bring them to you here on the radio. But if you want to know more about this, just visit armedamericannews.com, and you can click on any of those articles, one right after the other, and read them. Read them back from the beginning and follow the story the way Lee has written it. Now, on some other ATF notes, ATF announces new policy. Cam over at Bearing Arms, our good friend over there, is writing yesterday about ATF announcing new policy. It says will protect privacy of gun owners. Oh, okay. So I'm supposed to trust the ATF today. I don't think so. But apparently yesterday they announced a new policy that the agency claims will safeguard the privacy rights of gun owners. Since when do they care about that? Here's what their tweet was, or post on X, formerly known as Twitter, whatever you want to call it. ATF is instituting new measures to protect gun owner privacy and to prevent the misuse of a law enforcement tool. Okay. Senior leadership approval is required for all requests to receive information from the NICS alert to investigate firearms trafficking. What do you make of that post?
So you have to get a senior ATF official to say, okay, you can check the computer for data. I don't know what this means, but I'll tell you this. What the hell was going on before?
Well, yeah, that's what the question that's begged. Okay, what was happening prior to that? Now, I don't have the answer to that. Obviously, we can guess. We've got 30 seconds before the break, so when we come back, we'll dig a little bit deeper into Cam's piece and see what we can surmise from this. But yeah, that's the question, is what were you doing previous to that? And honestly, ladies and gentlemen, and why? We will never know the answer to those questions, Lee. Because the ATF is not going to come out all of a sudden, be Mr. Honest Abe, and tell us, well, we were screwing you for the last 8 years. That's not going to happen. We already know that. But they're not going to come out and do it. Just like it looks like they're not, even though this kid's life is on the line in prison, they're not going to come out and admit what happened. Unless Kash Patel is aware of it. I don't know if Kash is aware of it. I can promise you in the near future he will be aware of it. That much I can promise you. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense. Guest Lee, the gun writer Williams, continues right after the break. We'll see you on the flip side.
Daniel Defense firearms are guaranteed for life, trusted worldwide, and designed, engineered, and manufactured right here in America. Daniel Defense, freedom, passion, precision.
Yeah, right here in America is right, Daniel Defense. In fact, right here in Georgia. In fact, right down near Savannah, which is a great place to go visit if you've never been, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Savannah is a great town. The River District is fantastic. There's lots of ghost stuff over there if you like that kind of stuff. Tons of cool stuff, tons of great restaurants, and so much Civil War history. Yeah, so if you get a chance, driving down Interstate 16 out of Atlanta, boom, on the left-hand side, about 6 or 7 miles from 95, you run right into Daniel Defense on the left side, that big American flag and that big Daniel Defense flag blowing in the breeze over there. And I've been in there many, many times. Can't wait to go back. The smell of freedom is in there as soon as you pull into that place. It's wonderful. Make sure to check out DanielDefense.com and get on their email list because they have really fun stuff over there, just like the SIG list, North American Arms, CAR, etc. All the manufacturers have great lists over there. And the only way you get to see a lot of this stuff is if you're on their email list. You get to see it first. So make sure to check it out. A lot of times what they offer sells, and if you weren't on the list, you're not going to be able to see it in the first place. And you do want to see it. It's really fun stuff. DanielDefense.com. And you can find all of our great partners, as I mentioned, every show at ArmedAmericanRadio.com. AmmoSquared.com is another one. We're stacking ammo. Andy Hoosier was here yesterday. And Greg, I thought it was cool that he's stacking ammo and digging it now. And, you know, he's doing the $15 a week like me. Before he knows it, just in a blink of an eye, boom, he's going to have thousands of rounds of ammunition like me, and it's really fun. AmmoSquared.com, AmmoSquared.com. Lee the Gunwriter Williams, welcome back, my brother. So,
thank you. Great to be here.
Always a pleasure to have you, man. So ATF is instituting new measures to protect gun owner privacy. This is their full tweet, by the way. It's a full post. And they have a link to the document, okay? And it says the use of the NICS alert is a valuable investigative technique for firearm trafficking investigations. It is critical that this tool is utilized properly and only when needed. Okay, this is almost a joke. To this end, we are undergoing an extensive review of all current alerts and stipulating additional requirements for future use of NICS alerts. Effective immediately, special agents in charge, the SACs, approval and Deputy Assistant Director, DAD, concurrence is now mandatory for all NICS alerts. NICS alerts may only be utilized in cases involving suspected violations of federal firearm statutes. This investigative technique should not be utilized to primarily investigate state firearm laws. A formal memo for approval will be utilized, which will require the following information: requester's name, field division office, contact number and email, Lee, ATF case number, name of the person subject to alert, list of suspected federal firearm violations, summary of suspect's activity to date, which meets FBI's criteria to initiate the NICS alert, and requested length of the NICS alert, 30, 60, 90, or 180 days. Now, what this tells me, Lee, is that everything they're telling us they're going to fix, they've been violating and doing.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Come on.
I'm trying not to get mad.
Don't get FCC unfriendly.
Say bad words. Yeah, I'm trying not to get the FCC involved. But my God, man. I mean, oh.
Yeah, so folks, when you hear what is Trump doing, you know, about our gun rights. I was on Mark Cox's morning show today, and we talked a little bit about that. And we haven't seen a lot of quote-unquote fixes from ATF yet. But there's this stuff, right? And again, you've got Driscoll in there now. He's been in there, a couple weeks, sworn now. It's going to take some time. But stuff like this tells us, without telling us, that they've been violating what they tell us they're going to fix, so it's no longer a violation. In other words, they've been abusing their authority. Let me put it that way. And
they've been violating people's rights. Violating
their rights, right to privacy, etc. Really, really interesting stuff. Now, you and I both know John Crump, and he provides Cam links over there to some background. He was over at AmmoLand, John Crump. AmmoLand News first reported the ATF using a NICS monitoring system in 2021 after learning about the system through an inside source. The ATF would use NICS to monitor Americans buying guns. Now, we talked about that, and we know that there were lists involved, and they were keeping how many records? It started with a B. That would be billions, ladies and gentlemen, which is a violation of federal law. Is it not, Lee?
Huge violation of federal law.
Yeah, because that data in the NICS is supposed, and ladies and gentlemen, what we're talking about is when you go in to purchase a firearm and fill out a NICS background check form. That data is supposed to be 86, Lee, within 24 hours.
Right away, yeah. And the fact that they're not doing it, first of all, you have to be able to read these press releases and keep in mind what they're actually trying to say. This is one of the worst things I've seen. Okay, this is pretty much an admission that they've screwed up and have promised not to do it again.
Yeah, tell me you've been violating my rights to privacy without telling me you've been violating my rights to privacy. John Crump did good work over there, and I remember covering this years back, actually. But the targets being monitored, according to John, quoting, were not being charged with any crime. The ATF was tracking people who they felt might commit a crime in the future or associated with the quote-unquote wrong people. Now, let's jump back to our U.S. sailor. Is this what happened to him? They were monitoring, but you don't need a NICS background check to buy what he was buying. You can buy it on GunBroker and have it shipped right to your house.
You don't need anything. You don't need anything to buy what he was buying.
Okay, then that tells me.
Driver's license.
Well, then that tells me that they've been looking a lot deeper into us than we thought. Yeah. Because how would they know to show up at this kid's house? These are legitimate questions, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, he also had a website too.
Okay, so they were looking at his website, and they saw nothing illegal. They go, he might commit a crime one day, so they started investigating him. Then they kick in his door. This reeks.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing reeks. There's some words here that I'm, again, unable to use. However, I will say this. It makes me feel good that this is coming out. I mean, it's just an incredible, horrible, horrible thing. But at least somebody is thinking ahead, trying to cut down on the lawsuit. That'll be filed. I guarantee you they'll be filed once we learn who's the victim.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah. And I again, this is just signaling the changes that are coming in the Trump administration, ladies and gentlemen, with the ATF. The corruption there runs so deep, and the deep state runs so deep, that it's not going to happen yesterday or tomorrow. It's going to take some time. And I'm willing to give them that time to root out the corruption. Let me finish with what Cam Edwards had to say here. The ATF shouldn't be investigating or helping to enforce state-level gun control laws in California because one of these focused on a California case. New York, New Jersey, or anywhere else. So Sakita's directive, he is the ATF guy that signed the letter, is long overdue. There's a reason why Steve Dettelbach didn't take the same steps when he was in charge of the agency. The abuse of the NICS monitoring was just part of the whole of government attacks on gun owners launched by the Biden administration. And Dettelbach was willfully aiding and abetting these big brother-esque practices. This memo is another sign that the ATF is being reformed from within, and ATF Director Daniel Driscoll and Assistant Director Sakita should be recognized for moving in the right direction when it comes to treating gun owners as normal Americans, exercising a fundamental civil right, instead of treating them like criminal suspects who need to be under Uncle Sam's microscope, which is what we just said. They are making the right moves, Lee. This is encouraging.
They're making the right moves for all the wrong reasons. And I'm wondering if the people whose civil rights were violated will be brought into the loop and told.
Probably
That's
not.
what really concerns me.
And I'll tell you why.
Yeah,
because your civil rights were violated. Mine were. They're not going to call us. Anybody who bought a gun. Now, here's what disturbs me more than anything else, Lee.
25.
I want to talk with you about this on the other side of this break in the final segment. What really disturbs me about this is not that Dettelbach was willfully aiding and abetting. We knew that. He was nothing but a political hack scumbag, to be very nice.
From day one.
But what concerns me are the thousands of ATF agents who willfully went along, followed the Pied Piper, instead of saying, absolutely not, am I going to spy on my neighbors? That's a huge concern. A huge concern. I'd love to know that those agents are out. They just flip now?
15?
We'll cover it when we come back from the break, but that's a huge question, and it does require some answers. We'll be back. Cameras are up.
This segment of Armed American Radio's Daily Defense is being brought to you by Daniel Defense. Visit DanielDefense.com. Now, back to the show.
Yeah, check them out, ladies and gentlemen, all of our partners. And MyPillow, don't forget MyPillow. Mike is out there just plugging away, ladies and gentlemen, plugging away. And he's been plugging away here now for, oh, golly, I keep saying over a decade. Greg, I'm pretty sure it's 13 or 14 years. I lose track of time, but back in the day when I was broadcasting every year at the AM 980 AM The Patriot booth. I love you guys up in Minneapolis. You used to go up there every year and broadcast from the Minnesota State Fair. Folks, if you've never been to that thing, it's the real deal. And the food's off the chain, really off the chain. But Mike has been there with us since those days. He co-hosted the show with me on more than one occasion, face-to-face sitting there. And he's such a great guy, and he's been under such vicious attack. But he's still out there fighting every day. And you can help by simply buying a pillow or, you know, a set of towels.
He's got a special going right now, too.
Yeah, whatever special I lose track of them. So that's why I just blanket it. I just say, just put the AAR promo code and you get them all. What is the special? Because I know a lot of Salem hosts, you know, provide that as well.
He's been doing a thing with Mike Gallagher in the morning. I think it was like $25 sheets. So check out what they've got going on over there.
Yeah.
He's trying to recoup from saving the country and paying for lawsuits for election integrity and a lot of other things going on. I've heard them talking about that in the morning on Gallagher's show.
Yeah, we should bring Mike to the show. Kitchen and towel sales right now as low as $9.99 with the promo code. That's AAR. And the Percale bed sheets, right here they are on my page, on my landing page. Closeout sale, all colors, all sizes, $25. Okay, premium My Pillows, $19.98, queen size. Kings, $24.98. You can even buy energy drinks over there, Rev 7s, and save up to 30% off. Now, if those of you are watching on TV, let me just show you this because I am not afraid to show you this at all. But I have a cross necklace that I wear all the time. And if you visit the MyPillow website, you'll see that same cross on Mike. I have the same one. You can do that too. He sells that over there. And it's a nice piece of jewelry. It's not a piece of junk. But all that stuff, you can find it all, including pet blankets, dog bed. It's all there. We don't talk enough about it. But use the AAR promo code. And it's just a real simple way to say, hey, Mike, thank you. Thank you for supporting my right to keep and bear arms. He values your right to keep and bear arms, ladies and gentlemen. He'd fight to the mat with it. So to defend it. So support him for that. And you can find all of our partners, barrelbuddy.com, they're all there. North American Arms, Emerson Knives. Use the AAR promo code, get 10% off. Patriots Relief, and get all that pain stuff. I use that stuff every single day on both my elbows and every once in a while my left wrist because of my guitar playing, because I play it a lot, and sometimes it gets to my wrist. That stuff works. So if you got little aches and pains and stuff like that, you want to get some good night's sleep, all that stuff is over there at patriotsrelief.com. You can find them all at armedamericanradio.com. Support them. They support you. Support them back. That's the way we scratch each other's backs. Lee the Gunrider Williams, welcome back. So I'm very disturbed more than anything, Lee, when I read this stuff. I know there's positive things happening. I know it's not fast enough. But honestly, ladies and gentlemen, if you're being honest with yourselves and you look over, today's marks 100 days for Trump. 100 days. 10 days more than 90 days. Okay? 3 months and 10 days. And look at the things we've talked about that Trump has already done 2A related. It is coming quickly. You just got to take a breather, step back, take a breath, and realize that we are going in the right direction for the first time in many, many, many years. So thank you, President Trump, for that. I say thank you out loud for that. Thank you, God, for bringing President Trump back to the White House. But, Lee, this stuff is disturbing because you have ATF agents who worked under the Biden administration that did the Biden administration's bidding while working under Dettelbach. Now they flip gears because there's a new administration and now they're not the bad people they were before. What does that make that person? What does that say about that person when they're in a position to take away your freedom?
Before I saw the case here, the Tate case, I don't know what I would have said, but here you've got a young kid who was going into Naval Special Operations.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a good kid, right? He wants to be a SEAL, and he was accepted. And they screwed him over 9 kind of ways till Sunday, and nothing about their charges rings true. I look at that and I think to myself, when I was a cop, I saw some young cops do some dumb stuff, but there were sergeants and lieutenants and captains and majors who would catch them doing the wrong stuff and would put them right. Here as an organization, I'm not seeing that, and that concerns me. The fact that you don't have a lot of senior guys there left anymore, and I've talked to more than a few that have retired that said it's just out of control. I don't know how we save that organization. More importantly, Mark, I don't know why we would save that organization.
Yeah, well, that was my next question. Why would we want to? I'm glad you mentioned that and took my thunder, because really, again, we hammer the ATF all the time, and we should. And we go all the way back with David Codry, who broke a lot of ATF news on these very microphones right here on Armed American Radio over the years. David and Mike Vanderbo, who has passed away, but they did amazing work exposing the Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives organization for what they were doing, and essentially forcing gun shop owners to violate federal law and sell guns to cartel members, knowing they were legitimately being trafficked to Mexico. People have died as a result of that. That's your ATF. And don't even get me started on Justin Moon and Waco. We heard that one on Sunday's program. He's not going to pull any punches. So this is an organization that, I don't have a lot of reverence for, okay? They need to go bye-bye as far as I'm concerned. But I am really concerned about the individual agents, Lee, that, are you a corrupt cop over here one day and all of a sudden you're not because management changes? I don't think so.
What happens in 4 years if a Democrat replaces Trump?
But can you imagine an AOC taking the ATF? Now,
do they go back?
Well, sure they do. And let's go right back let's go to a tweet. I have to find it here. Where is it? Here it is. Oh, no, let me pull it up. I got to get back to it. This is from Giffords. We're 100 days into Trump's second term. So far, he has 1, pardoned armed extremists from January 6th. Armed extremists. 2, fought to arm people convicted of domestic abuse. 3, given rogue gun dealers a free pass to break laws. And 4, shuttered the Office of Gun Violence Prevention. So much for being tough on crime. Nothing they mention here had stopped any crime whatsoever.
Totally agree.
Given rogue gun dealers a pass to break laws, they asked gun dealers to be rogue and break laws themselves.
They paid them.
Well, as Cam Edwards points out, shuttering the Office of Gun Violence Prevention, all that was a source of jobs for like minds in the gun control community moving in and out of the White House. It's out of here. But this is the stuff we get from the Giffords organizations. Lee, I could talk about this with you all afternoon, but good heavens. Tell people where they can go find you, brother, because we all love you.
They can go to armedamericannews.org, thegunwriter.substack.com, or saf.org.
Find it all. Lee the Gunwriter Williams, thank you, brother. Love you. Get you here every Tuesday. So much to talk with you about. Again, ladies and gentlemen, there's no shortage of stuff to talk about with the ATF, not just the stories that Lee is covering, but all of the other surrounding stories that are constantly breaking within this rogue organization. There appears to be, as we mentioned today, some positive steps being taken. Is it going to be enough? And will it happen fast enough? We'll be on top of it. We'll let you know when we know. Simple as that. Armed American Radio is going to get up and do it again tomorrow. It'll be garbage day at the ranch. We'll see what they can throw at us on a garbage day. They always do. In the meantime, carry on, carry often, carry absolutely everywhere. Never, ever, ever leave your cave without your club. No self-respecting caveman would have ever been caught outside his cave without his club. Stay safe. See you on the radio tomorrow, guys.
You've just filled your prescription for freedom with Mark Walters, presented by X Insurance. X Insurance on the Armed American Radio Network.
All right, guys, thanks for being here today. Appreciate it very much. rolling through the week. Be tomorrow, of course, garbage day at the ranch. Who knows where we're going tomorrow? Who knows? We'll know in the morning. But until we meet on the radio tomorrow, you guys stay safe out there. Thanks for tuning in today. Please repost these posts and help us take back our social media. We appreciate it very much when you do that. And you can check us out on Facebook. Follow us over there, Facebook.com/Armed American Radio, Twitter @AARMark, Rumble @AARMark, YouTube @AARMark. Will we have TikTok soon? Maybe. Never know. Stay safe, guys. We'll see you on the radio tomorrow. Thanks for being here.